Seafood, what's the best way to cook scallops? I swear, I don't just look around to find answers I've already written about. As always, here's the full text, no need to go anywhere else. The scallop. That noble, yet accessible, mollusk mussel. Easy to sear, season, plate, and enjoy, it's a quick treat on the plate, a buttery, herbal taste of the wide ocean. You had the scallop appetizer at my place, listening to the satisfying crack of it sear under your knife before digging your teeth into a whole new world of happy. Here's the secret: it's insanely easy to make at home. And that's important, a few simple rules are followed. If your scallops taste bland and not at all buttery, if they seem rubbery, it might not be your problem. We don't spend much time on this appetizer when you order it, but a little bit of work goes into it ahead of time. Next time you're making this delectable and quick treat at home, try the following. We use dry scallops. You might be using wet scallops. Purveyors tend to use this dirty trick to coax more money from their unsuspecting customers. Wet scallops are stored and sold in a solution of sodium tripolyphosphate, which is used both as a preservative and a plumping agent. Scallops suspended in STP take on water, thereby plumping up and appearing larger and heavier. Since scallops are generally sold by weight, this is a popular way to make more money on less product. The water inside the scallop will evaporate on cooking, making browning much harder, and giving it a bland, fishy taste and unappealing texture. By dry scallops, Atlantic scallops are a very sustainable seafood. Pacific scallops are now on the rebound after having been overdredged for a few years. When given a chance, always opt for diver scallops. The most popular means of harvesting these mollusks is dredging a net along the ocean floor, which can damage the outer shells and impart unwanted flavors early. Damaged scallops also release stress hormones and tense their abductor muscle, which you will ultimately eat, leading to a rubbery mouthfeel. Wet scallops tend to be bright white and bland in color, mushy to the touch. Dry scallops are ivory in color and springy. If wet scallops are all you can get, read on. There's a rescue at hand. 1a. Brine. The chemical flavor of wet scallops is a bigger turn-off than most of the other issues, which we can and will work around in the next tips. If you have nothing else to turn to, make a 50 hours 25 minutes 25 seconds solution of lemon or lime juice, apple cider vinegar, and water. Add 8 tablespoons salt per quart. Brine your scallops for at least 1 hour. This won't remove the STP inside the scallop but will effectively mask the taste by imparting a counter flavor. Both the STP and the acid taste should balance each other, becoming subtle notes that aren't really in the way of a good feast. Still, dry scallops are the way to go. Season well. Seasoning your scallop is a science all in itself. Luckily we have a few decades of experience with the beast and can just stand on the shoulders of greater cooks. The 2 downfalls of scallop seasoning are too soon and not enough. Seasoning your scallops too soon will burn the surface, creating a rubbery layer. Seasoning not enough. Well, you know what they say about seasoning, it's like a bass player. No one notices you when you're around, but go missing or offbeat for a second, and everyone hates the song. I am using a dry seasoning containing dried and blitzed scallop roe. Since it's highly unlikely you'll get access to in-shell diver scallops, the seasoning below doesn't contain it. Holler if you do, and I'll update the mix for you. 1 part brown sugar, 2 parts fine salt, no need to buy it, just crush your kosher salt in a mortar. 1 part paprika, 1/2 part cayenne, 1/4 part nutmeg. Instead of sprinkling the mix onto the scallop, layer a plate with the seasoning, then place the scallop on it. Its own weight will compact the seasoning layer slightly, pushing it into the cut's natural cracks and crevices. 3. Sear in a mixture of butter and oil. Butter has too low a smoke point to be an efficient searing agent. Oil lacks the browning abilities of butter. So we go with a 50 hours 50 minutes mix. Experts are torn on the question whether this actually raises the smoke point, but I tend to go with this and Sacrad's explanation. Combining the two does not actually raise the smoke point of butter, but pushes a thin layer of oil underneath the milk solids in the pan, preventing early burning and the chain reaction which then leads to unsightly, burn-tasting oil. 4. Walk away. Most people seem to have this natural drive to sear and flip. Scallops hate to be seared and flipped. Place your scallop into a pan at medium-high heat and walk away. Unless you are using a non-stick pan, and there's nothing wrong with that, we're not building a sauce. If we were, which is a great thing to do, non-stick would be a no-no. There's a simple indicator when it's time to flip. Try lifting it with your fingers, don't ruin it by using tools, gently. If the sear still clings to the pan, it's not yet time. Usually that's around 2 minutes in for most scallops. After flipping, add 1 tablespoon of butter to the pan. Baste the scallop evenly with hot butter unless done. You'll get a pretty good idea of what a done scallop feels like. Keep squeezing and observing. Another reason not to use tongs. 5. Walk away. Again, scallops, like most exercised muscles, benefit from a brief rest after being subjected to high heats. Place your scallop on a cooling rack for 3 to 4 minutes before plating and serving. 6. Make a great sauce. Lemon wedges are so 802s. Your blank might excite the French, but let's be honest, the last time a French cook did anything worthy of mention they robbed him of the Chef of the Century award and gave it to Joel Robuchon. Thusly proven taste impaired, why should we trust them about other things? Instead, let's look west to Spain and Portugal, home of some of the best scallop dishes I ever ate. We'll make our red ginger sauce, which is basically a cullis. Simply combine by equal weight tomatoes, seeded and courgette, which is a fancy way of saying remove skin and seeds, then slice into cubes, and red peppers. Add finely grated ginger. I go with about 1 tablespoon per tomato, seasoned to taste though, not every ginger is created equal. Add sugar and salt to taste, then blitz with a stick blender until smooth. Add into saucepan and reduce until 2/3 of the water content is gone. At the last second add 1/2 tablespoon of butter per 2 tablespoons of cullis, which is about as much as you should put on your plate. Incorporate well, and garnish onto plate. Add some finely chopped basil, serve with warm bread. Voila!